Dairy! Hey guys, welcome back to How I Met My 20s. This is the second episode. I'm so excited. Oh yeah, sorry about the jump scare to anyone who's lactose intolerant. Almond milk. And also if you're confused, go ahead and hop out of here and go over to the classic Schmosby episode. It was the first episode of this podcast. We were talking about, friendships, navigating love life, and bringing back romantic gestures, and planning your future. Just really overall analyzing the hopeless romantic that is Ted Mosby. But anyway, if you know why I shouted the word dairy, lock in, because we are back with another episode of How I Met My 20s. So for those of you who don't know, welcome to How I Met My 20s. I'm Bree. I'm 23 years old. I'm a college student, and I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. I'm done with school in December, so I'm really trying to figure things out, and I decided I'm a huge fan of How I Met Your Mother. I've watched it 8 times, so I'm just gonna get some ideas and lessons from Ted Mosby and all of them and compare how their 20s were and how they grew up to how my 20s are going. So this is the second episode. Welcome to Robin Sparkles. And also for those of you who have not watched How I Met Your Mother, first of all, if you could just set aside like a solid month of your life, I'm going to need you to watch it. Yes, it's 9 seasons, but it's worth it, and I think it will change your life. A quick recap, though. You know what? Barney does a great recap in the show, so I'm going to let him do a quick one, and then I'll come back and I'll add a little bit more. And just to let you guys know, all of the links to the original videos will be in the description, so check those out.
It's kind of a long story, Quinn. Gonna take a little bit longer than a minute.
52 seconds.
7 years ago, when Marshall and Lily got engaged, Ted saw Robin across a crowded room, and I said, oh yeah, you just know she likes it dirty, but Ted really liked her, so we played Have You Met Ted? They went to dinner, he walked her home, should have kissed her, didn't lame. So he stole a Smurf penis, went back to her place, should have kissed her, didn't lame. He threw 3 parties, they kissed on the roof, but decided to be friends, lame. Then Ted wanted to take Robin to a wedding. She couldn't go, he went alone and met Victoria, didn't kiss her either, lame. Not a great closer, Ted. Then he finally kissed her, they started dating, she went to Germany, Ted kissed Robin, lost Victoria, Ted did a rain dance, got Robin, Ted and Robin broke up, Robin moved to Brazil, came back with a Latin stud. Ted got jealous, got a tramp stamp, not really relevant to the story, I just like mentioning that as much as possible. I hooked up with Robin, Ted and I stopped being friends, Ted got hit by a bus, we made up. Robin and I started dating, I got fat, her hair fell out. We broke up, Robin dated Dawn, I dated Nora, cheated on her with Robin, I dumped Nora, Robin dated Kevin, but not for long, and then I met you, and you took my grandpa's watch, but I fell in love with you anyway, and you let me fart in front of you, and I asked you to marry me, and you said yes, and we came over here to meet little Marvin, and that's everything. Also, I went on The Price is Right, and I want a dune buggy.
Okay, so obviously Barney mostly talked about Ted, so what you get from that is Ted Mosby is the main character of the show. He's a hopeless romantic in New York. He spends time with his friends every single day. There's Barney, Marshall, Lily, and Robin. They all kind of help each other through relationships and figuring life out. It's like a solid friend group. You can kind of compare it to Friends. Their central perk is McLaren's Pub. And yeah, it's a really, really good show. It's hilarious. And I highly recommend watching it. Okay, so just to recap last week. Last week we were talking about Ted Mosby and the ways that he navigates and how we should or shouldn't navigate friendships, romance, like romantic relationships, and just kind of figuring out what your future plans should look like or what you want them to look like and how intensely you should really stick to that. So go ahead and, again, go listen to it if you haven't already. And so now this week is called Robin Sparkles. So if you know the show, you know who we're talking about, of course. So Robin Scherbatsky is a character in the show. She is a Canadian who moved to New York, and she's a news anchor. She's very independent and confident, and Ted Mosby is absolutely obsessed with her, and she joins the friend group at the beginning of the show. And one thing about Robin that you find out later on is growing up, she was a teen pop star in Canada called Robin Sparkles. And it's something that is pretty key to her character arc because it's kind of this other side of her that you would never expect because of who she is now. Like, currently in the show, she's very independent and career-driven and slightly more serious than the rest of the group. So when you find out about Robin Sparkles, it gives you this look into who she used to be and comparing it to who she is now, and it's just it's a stranger. And they make fun of it because it's like, you would never imagine that that's who she was. And I think that's something really important to talk about how we try to erase ourselves. I think that happens to everyone, where it's like, you look back at your past self and you think, wow, I don't know who that was, and I'm trying to erase who that was because it's kind of embarrassing. And I just kind of want to think about whether or not that's how we should go ahead and what it means to be in your 20s and reinvent yourself. Robin, she spent years trying to distance herself from that pop star version of herself. Just like how a lot of us try to bury our high school selves or our middle school selves. I know personally, I'm going to be so for real with you guys right now. I have archived every single photo before 2020 on my Instagram. You will not be catching high school or middle school me on there. Absolutely not. Okay, little background on me now. I was absolutely obsessed with music. I'm a big music nerd, but people thought I was like a 5th grader when I was a senior. I looked very young for my age, and I honestly kind of acted it, and I was super into musical theater and chorus, and yeah, I was a theater nerd. There are, in fact, pictures out there of me as Mama Bear in Shrek the Musical that quite literally would send me orbiting if certain people saw. So, oh god, okay, wait. Guys, I'm begging you, don't go looking for this. And I think me saying this now is making you want to more. I will sue you. Please don't look for them. Please, I'm begging you. Anyway, but so that's the thing. It's like I get so embarrassed about who I was. And Robin does too, where it's like she tried to burn everything that ever had to do with Robin Sparkles. She never wanted anyone finding that out. She moved to the US, and I think part of that is just trying to escape her pop star persona because she wanted to come off as more serious and become a news anchor. And that kind of reminds me of how, like, I was insane about, being a songwriter, like getting into the music industry. It shaped who I wanted to be and the big decisions I made. I think it's so crazy that when you turn 18, you're supposed to choose who you want to be for the rest of your life. Choose where you want to go or what you want to be educated in and have that shape your entire life and who you'll be as a person. So I loved music. So senior year, I decided, I'm going to Belmont University for songwriting and music business in Nashville, Tennessee. I was in love with writing songs. I still am. I still write some songs. I kind of started spiraling and I started thinking, this isn't realistic. Yes, it was my entire life, but maybe I just need to move on. I need to give up on it. So I kind of left that part of my life completely behind and I took a year off and I came to Quinnipiac for communications. I worry sometimes that younger me made these decisions. And I worry that she'd be really upset with who I am now. I went to school at Belmont for 2 years, and then I left at 19, and honestly, when I turned 20, I was like, all right, I'm going to go back to school, and I'm going to do something completely different. I'm going to stop writing songs for the rest of my life. I went through a really bad funk because I tried to erase that version of myself. And that's not what you should do. You shouldn't be erasing or trying to erase who you were. Like, the idea of reinventing yourself in your 20s is really, that's a big thing. People are like, all right, adulting means reinventing who I am and, growing up. But really, it's supposed to be like finding a perfect balance of molding together your past and your present and being able to take those different pieces of yourself and make who you are and who you want to be. And so I think I did a lot of like erasing, and Robin definitely tried to do the same thing. And you see it in her where it's like when she talks about it, she's embarrassed. And she doesn't want she doesn't want to be associated with that because she knows she's someone completely different. And when Barney shows everyone the video, Robin has this huge sense of defeat and embarrassment and just regret for who she was in the past and the decisions she made in the past. And here's just a clip of that. I think it's a really great example of how it feels when you try to erase yourself.
Oh my God.
Well, obviously I've been proven right. So, in the interest of Robin's dignity, I won't show any more. Plus, it's getting late. It's already slap o'clock.
Oh, God. What the hell was that?
I slot bet Marshall that you did porn, so I win.
Porn? I wish it was porn. It would be less embarrassing.
I know. How about I sing you a song?
Let's go to the mall, everybody! Go! Come on, Jessica! Come on, Tori!
I was a teenage pop star in Canada.
Put on your jelly bracelet and your cool graffiti coat. At the mall, having fun is what it's all about.
So that, I can really resonate with the way that she feels about it all. Because there's something so terrifying about people seeing who you used to be because you craft this image of yourself when you get older, because we have this idea of adulting and reinventing ourselves. So we decide, in order to reinvent who I am, I have to erase everything about me. I have to erase who I was and start from scratch. So then there goes all of those little dreams and aspirations and things that made me who I was. And people would be so much happier if we were more accepting of who we used to be and kind of kept those pieces. Like, there were so many things I wanted in life, and there were so many ways I saw myself. Just because you have to turn into an adult doesn't mean you have to lose who you were as a kid. So I also want to talk about not only how our past selves are important to who we are now, and kind of considering that moving forward into our 20s, but how past relationships and like friendships matter. So in the show, later on, we're introduced to Jessica Glitter, who was Robin Sparkle's kind of counterpart. They were best friends. They did a show together. They were both pop stars. Jessica reminds Robin of her past, and Robin, again, she tries to shut that completely out, that it causes her to shut out people from them too. I can relate to that because I think when I left home, I just completely stopped talking to the people that, I knew in high school. There's very few friends from high school that I still talk to, because when you're trying to figure out who you are now as a person out in the world, you try to push away other people who are connected to who you've been. Going into my 20s, it's like, okay, who am I going to be? I can't focus on who I've been. I need to focus on who I'm going to be. So I can't focus on, one, the decisions I used to make or the things I used to love, but two, the people I used to spend every day with. They were so similar to who I was because they were close friends that if I want to block out who I was, that means I have to block them out too because they are a piece of who I was. And I think that led to a lot of lost relationships, which isn't always a bad thing though. I also think being in your 20s, when you reflect back on the people you knew, it also makes you realize that those were kind of your first encounters really with loss or losing someone important to you because you were kind of forced to move on, forced to move away. So you lost a piece of yourself because those people made up who you were. You spent every day with the people you went to school with in high school and everything. Every single day, that's who you saw. And that made it so you all started to have the same interests and the same lifestyles. And so when you move away, not only are you losing your interests and your lifestyles, but the people who reflected the same thing. And so it's kind of like grieving. When you try to erase who you were, not only are you grieving the loss of, innocence or just a younger you, but the people who made you that person or the people who supported you throughout being that person. I also think it's really important to recognize and appreciate the people that you still have from that time in your life. In your 20s, it's so easy to push away from your past that when you have those little pieces that you can hang on to, I think it's super important to keep them and to really appreciate them. Because, I have one friend from home, her name's Kayla, and I'll go home and we'll hang out and we pick up exactly where we left off. It feels like not a day has gone by because we're so close. And yes, we have those shared experiences from when we were in high school or middle school. But I think we found a good balance of figuring out ourselves and still holding space for the other person. I think there's something kind of healing about being able to go home and have someone like that. You can show your new friends only the new reinvented you. But having someone, while it can be scary and embarrassing, having someone who knows who you have been and can still take in who you are now and appreciate that and love you either way and always be there for you through that. It's important to make those kind of friendships and keep them where they never kind of just let you push them away. I think that's a big thing. It's like who are the people that let you push them away, that let you erase them, and who are the ones that don't? The ones that don't are the people that you need to keep around. And the ones that don't are the people who will always be there for you. And I think that's also something that when you look back on your past self, you can consider. Like being in my 20s, it's like, oh, that's a really important relationship that I need to make sure that I, appreciate and really care for. Because having someone in my life like that knows who I have been, knows the embarrassing things, but still makes me feel like being around them makes me realize while I am the person I am today, I can still be the person I was around them. And that's nice. That's good to feel because it's very fulfilling and it's kind of healing. It can also feel just like when you're around those people, you're able to revive yourself. So while you've lost a lot of people in your life from trying to move on or reinvent yourself, you've lost pieces of yourself, of you. Then when you come back to people who have stayed around and have experienced you for all you have been, they help you revive yourself. And in the show, Jessica was able to bring out this side of Robin that you didn't really get to see beforehand when it came to Robin Sparkles. Like, there's this clip of them at the Hoser Hut singing the Beaver song, and the Beaver song starts to play, and Robin panics, but then she realizes that it's Jessica Glitter singing it, and she joins in happily. And this just shows how important it is to have friends in your life that are accepting of and understand your past. Here's the clip.
Oh my god, it's the Beaver song. Okay, which one of you put this on?
Hey Beaver, come on. When you feel alone, just pick up that phone, and I'll be there to share my ice cream cone. We'll lick it side by side.
Wow, this is so dirty.
Come on, Barney. It's a sweet song about friendship.
Yeah, dude, come on.
Two beavers are better than one. Two beavers are better than one. They're twice the fun. Ask anyone. A beaver can be second to none. Two beavers are better than one. Da-da-da. My favorite beaver.
And so it all brings me to the point of embracing our past selves. I think watching Robin struggle so much with, not wanting to be known for who she was, trying to reinvent who she is. Her worst nightmare was people finding out that she had this other life when she was younger, and being able to break down that wall, that hard exterior that she put up, was terrifying for her. And I can really relate to that, because I think everyone has a past, and everyone has parts of their past that are intimate and hard to talk about. But there's parts of our past that I think everyone, you bully. And I think it's really important to be gentle on that person, because that person is still you. And so when I sit here and look back and I make fun of who I was, I'm making fun of the part of me that was authentic. There's just something about embracing who you were and feeling proud of the person that you've become, and not letting go of the pieces that made you when you were younger, that makes being in your 20s feel more fulfilling. I came to Quinnipiac when I was 21, and I'm 23 now. I came to Quinnipiac and I decided, okay, I want to go into communications, media studies, and PR. And then I started to think, okay, what do I want to use this for? And I realized I can still keep that past. I can still keep that piece of me that loved music, that wanted to be a musician, wanted to be in the music industry, and use the degree that I'm going to get in communications towards that. I can be a publicist for artists. I can do PR for a label, or I can do marketing for a record company, or things like that. It's just, there are ways that I can incorporate who I was and what I loved and what I wanted to be, and continue to evolve and continue to mature and learn more about myself. Because what I've learned is who I should be is not a reinvented version of myself, but a combined version of myself. One that is a combination of, who I was in the past, who I am now, and who I'm looking to be. It's okay to embrace the weird or wrong decisions that you made growing up. Because now that you're in your 20s, it does not mean that it has to define you. You don't have to push it away completely in order to not be who you were. No one wants their past decisions to define them. But that doesn't mean that the decisions didn't play a part in who you are now. So it's okay to reflect on them and not push them completely out of your life. So I guess my challenge to you guys is to go back through old photos of yourself and videos and compliment yourself, and then look at photos and videos and just the things you do now and think about whether or not little you would recognize you on the street and think that you're cool or want to be like you and be proud of you. And if they wouldn't recognize you, or if they wouldn't want to be you, what do you need to add into your life to make them? Just love yourself, respect yourself. I don't know, guys. I've yapped for too long. Let's bring this to an end, huh? So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was really fun. I'm about to go listen to some Robin Sparkles songs. I highly suggest you do too. Make sure to go check out Classic Schmosby from last week and tune in next week for Marshall. It's going to be called Lawyered. And we are going to be talking about choosing between different careers and whether they're based around dreaming, like dreams, or stability. So until then, this is your sign to go to the mall in honor of Robin Sparkles. And I will see you next week. Later, hosers.